Hey everyone, how are you? Good morning, good evening, good night. Hope I'm speaking Spanish slowly for those who doesn't speak Spanish but understand Spanish. And I hope I speaking English in such a way that people that doesn't speak English but understand English can get it. So of course that um, I am using these two languages, English and Spanish, because of course they are the most useful and spoken in the world. Because if I would have to speak at least 5 languages, translating everything, it would be horrible and a mess for me. So thank you very much for to all of those who are following every day and they speak other languages. So let's begin with today. So this day is related with the pancreas, with the gland of pancreas, and this gland is related with the plexus, and is one that produces the glucose, that is the main fuel for the energy in our body. So in such a way, we can say that this gland is the one in charge of giving strength to our body, to the self, to the I am. So one of the things of this gland is to try to make a harmony in everything, and that every organ has the energy necessary to keep going. One of the things that we have to understand from this gland is that it receives everything that we inherit when we eat, and then it's processed by the stomach, liver, everything, the digestive system, and all together with the pancreas, they are spread to the body as energy. So it's not only about the physical meals that we have, the energy, but also it's an emotional energy. Not only when we eat, the information is spread by this gland to the body, but also what we feel, the emotions we receive, they are also spread from this gland. And all this information that we receive has the goal to become the main basement for the I am, for the self. For us to feel with strength and integrated with integrity, is this gland that helps the I am to be united and to process this information. Because everything that we receive from the outside, the emotions from people, come to us through the links that we have in our plexus, in the pancreas. And this is why everything that we feel for others and that others feels for us, for me, is received and controlled by the pancreas. This is why when we feel something for someone, we feel it in the pancreas, whatever it is, good or bad. So those sentences that maybe can make a resume, a summary of this, what I explained, are: I feel butterflies in my stomach, in my belly, or I feel hollow, I feel empty in my stomach. So these two sentences are kind of a summary of what our plexus feels linked with other people. So we could say that I am, by definition, the result of what I feel from the environment. So this is why the pancreas, in a good way, can produce insulin and the glucose of the, so it creates energy in the body. Or also what it can do is to feel low in this glucose and insulin, and so it starts to get ill. Every problem that we may have in the pancreas or around the pancreas is related with the emotions that we feel. The most common conflict that we may have is when we have a lack of love, and that creates a problem in the pancreas because it's a lack of energy. A lack of energy, a lack of emotion. So one of the things that we have to understand from pancreas is that we exist and we are because of these links. So one of the things that I wrote today in the blog is that we used to think, to believe that the goal that we have in relation with the plexus is to love ourselves, not to depend from others, and to fill up the voids that we have within with our own love. But it's not like that, precisely. We need to understand that we exist because of the relationships we have in between each one of us. And this is because everything in nature has something to give and something that they need. So this is a give and receive, okay, constantly. The universe doesn't see two different things that are exchanging things or information. The universe doesn't see separate things exchanging. The universe sees just one being flowing, okay, flowing constantly and sharing information in the same body. So one of the things that the I am explained today was that we as humans are used to think most in what we need, in what we are lack of, and what we have. So when we start to think about what we need, we don't have it, so we lose a lot of energy. But when we enlighten what we have, we give to the others what we have, naturally the other ones that have what we need will match with us because they can see it. What we have to understand is that we don't have to fill up the gaps. We don't have to fill up the voids that we have within. What we have to is to give a purpose to what we have, and naturally gaps will get filled with something else. One of the things that we must understand in order to change our consciousness, to make a transformation from ourselves, is to realize that we don't lack of anything. We don't have a lack of anything. We have everything. But we are not paying attention to that everything. So what we have to do is to open ourselves in service, and when we start to do the service, naturally what we need will come. Because when we are waiting to receive something we need in order to do something we want, that's the greatest mistake we are doing. Because nothing in nature will give you anything unless you move, because otherwise you're not useful for nature. This is why in all the ancient cultures and religions, they say to be in service to others, to serve to others. But we have created the idea that to be in service to others is like slavery, not an exchanging of energy. Someone made a question that is useful to explain something, which is the law of attraction. Is this the law of attraction? No. There we have a problem with the law of attraction. Because usually what we think is, I can attract what I want. What I want. And the problem with I want, with willing, is that it emerges from a need, not from a potentiality, just from a need. Here's an explanation about the law of attraction, because what I'm explaining is the law of attraction, but it's not. Because the law of attraction, the real one, is to your potential in service, and you start to move your energy. And when you start to move, you activate an engine that naturally will bring what you need in order to accomplish what you are doing during the path. Not by being sit down and asking for the universe, I want this, it will come. Okay? So for the law of attraction to work, I must set myself in action, not in the expectation. For example, sometimes we can, for example, say, I want to travel. I want to travel very much. But if I think in the law of attraction, I would say, I want a trip. I want a trip. I will co-create a trip. And nothing happens. But if I say I want a trip, but instead of waiting for it, I walk and I start to do things like asking people about the places where they have been and how they went there, and maybe you make a short trip and suddenly you meet someone that tells you about another place that you should know, and suddenly they bring you and suddenly you're traveling. And that's the magic. So this is related with everything, with love, with work, with whatever. What we have to understand is that we are like a machine and we need energy to work. And we always are in need of something. And maybe some other person has the fuel for my machine. So in order to my machine to work, I need to think, what do I have to give to that other person so that other person can give me the fuel? And by that, I start to move the machine. This is why I receive what I need according to my service, not the other way around. I cannot wait to receive so I can start. I can start with the service. And this is why it's so important that every one of us, in a tiny aspect of our lives, to be in need of, to be with some void, with the lack of something, because that's what makes everything move. If we would have everything and now, everything that we need, and we are complete, so we got enlightened, and that's it. I was just saying in Spanish that I know that maybe some of you are looking for enlightenment, of course, and you want to get enlightened right now, but I would recommend you not to seek for enlightenment, because it's a waste of time. And and I was saying that I am maybe the worst guide in spirituality ever, but I will explain why. The reason why it takes so long to get enlightened is because enlightenment is something that you reach when you accomplish to be in balance, accepting everything that you have within and everything that you are and everything that is around you, everything that exists. And in order to do that, I need to learn how to love and enjoy the creation. So the thing is that if I am willing to get enlightened, to get out of the creation, I am doing exactly the opposite of what enlightenment means. What we have to do is to enjoy what we have, enjoy what we are, love what we have created, and then someday maybe you get enlightened. But don't try to get enlightened if you are not even able to handle your own emotions. So in order to reach the enlightenment of the self, we need first to learn how to forgive our worst enemies, to love everyone equally, but most of all, to learn what love means, which is not to want someone. It's very different. So let's go to the pancreas by the moment and to see how we can handle the So the vibration of today is seal. It's not si or psi, it's seal. Seal, seal, seal. And the statement today is I am the path to the center. Because the center is the place where the path heads to.